Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Thank you very much for clicking on it. I really appreciate it. Today we have some Rocket Punch content, which I'm very excited to get to. We have an acoustic version of Ring Ring that dropped today, and we also have their Japanese, I want to say debut, I think it's a Japanese debut, Bubble Up, which dropped I think yesterday if I remember rightly. I didn't get a chance to get to it yesterday, but we are here today and it kind of works out well because we get to check out the acoustic version of Ring Ring at the same time. I'm not sure what Hulim is like with Japanese releases here on the YouTubes. If things are a bit weird over the screen recording, if I have to edit in some way to make it stay here, then that's why. It might be fine. It might be that anything I do just doesn't work, in which case it'll be put up on Patreon, but we'll see. We'll see. Depending on where you're watching this, you know what happened. But yeah, I'm very excited to check this out. I believe I saw earlier on my Discord actually that Umbi took part in the composition for the Japanese track, I think. Which is pretty damn cool. We love to see it. We love to see Umbi doing her thing. So I'm very excited to listen to it. Obviously for Rocket Punch themselves, but knowing that Umbi has had input into it is pretty damn cool. Anyway, let's get into this. Alrighty, so Ring Ring acoustic version. When did Ring Ring actually drop? I know it wasn't. Here's the thing. I have no idea where this year has gone. Like, all of the months have just kind of blurred into one, so I cannot remember when this actually dropped. But I know it wasn't early in the year. I know that much. And I know it was fairly recent. Regardless, it's a great song. I will admit I haven't listened to it as much as I thought I would, actually. I really enjoy it, and when it pops up and I listen to it, like, I have a really good time. But I've actually listened to Ride, the B-side. I've listened to that a lot more than this. But it is still an amazing song, don't get me wrong. I'm very excited to hear what it sounds like acoustically, because, I don't know, it's not a song that I would necessarily expect to have an acoustic version, but I'm kind of intrigued as to what it's going to sound like, and I imagine it's going to highlight their voices a lot more, which is cool. Let's just see. Let's get into it. So, 3, 2, 1, go. William. Oh. Ooh. Oh, I love that.
이쁜 척하네, no no. 내 맘은 원래 run away. 즐기고 있어.
I like this a lot.
중에 먼저 울리는 game. Here we go. I'm
She looks so
driving you
cute.
crazy, 불빛이 깜빡. 이리저리 흔들려 나도 몰라. Yeah, I'm thinking 있겠지.
Oh, I love those
안 좋아.
keys.
누구든지 원이 깨리 딱 말해. 나도 원하는 걸 원해볼. 세계에 방은 없어. Never first. 시간이 아까워 내 마음이 켜지는 그 순간 어지러워 쿵쿵 울려대는 내 맘이 쟤는 좀 아닌 듯하다면 you hurry 서리면 안 되겠어 이대로 Don't let me 소리 뻔하게 울려줘 Ring ring the alarm
I love that.
Ring ring the alarm 잠든 내 머릿속에 ring a ring a ring 싫은 건 아니고 but 아주 부족해 하루에 수십 번 왔다 갔다 하잖아 밀어내 또 당겨 아주 재밌는 situation 틈을 타 짜릿한 stress Here we go 진동의 폭을 최대치로 끌어올려 인내심 테스트 실컷 탔으니 No no more question Yeah I'm picky 캐치한 게 난 좋아 누구든지 원이 get it 딱 말해 나도 원하는 걸
I love that harmony so much.
시간이 아까워 내 마음이 켜지는 그 순간 어지러워 쿵쿵 울려대는 내 마음이 쟤는 좀 아닌 듯하다면 you hurry 서리면 안 되겠어 이대로 Don't make me sorry
You know, I've seen a couple of people already say that they actually preferred this to the original, and I can kind of totally see why. It's such a nice vibe.
잠든 내 머릿속에 ring a ring a ring 뻔함과 특별함 사이 뭐 어렵지 않아 제일 먼저 불러봐 say my name 이 추임 벗어나게 해 Yes right get ready 그린 대로가 재밌잖아
It does highlight their voices so nicely. Oh, that was real nice. That was real nice. I wasn't expecting that to have like that level of production to it. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but I you know, when you see the words acoustic version, I guess it kind of, I have a certain preconceived idea of what that might mean, but that was actually really nicely done. And also something that I like, so sometimes when people drop acoustic versions of songs, it kind of just sounds like they've taken the vocal track from the original and just put that on a different instrumental, right? A more acoustic instrumental. And it kind of sounds a bit strange. Like, you know, if you've got an instrumental that's super powerful and impactful, the vocals are going to match that. And if you then take that vocal track and just put it on an acoustic instrumental, it's going to sound a little bit odd because you've got these super overpowered vocals that are suited to an overpowered instrumental going over like a nice little acoustic track. Like, it doesn't really work. But people do it a lot because it saves a lot of time and it saves the artist having to re-record the vocals. But this, it very much sounds like they have like done the whole thing. Like, they've re-recorded the vocals, they've made this purposefully its own thing, its own like piece of music, and I really appreciate that. I like that effort was put into it, and that just adds to how nice it is. Like, that just sounded so good. That sounded so good. It was beautifully produced, and like I said, it just highlights their voices so nicely, so nicely. That was wonderful, and I totally understand why people are saying that they prefer this to the original. The original is great, it is a bop, it is a banger, but this has a real nice vibe to it. Like, this is a song that you can just put on and just kind of have in the background on like a nice warm summery day. Beautiful. This is a good vibe right here. Anyway, that was amazing. Let's move on to the Japanese track. Now, like I said, copyright might get a little bit weird with this because I don't know, you know, there are some companies that I've figured out like are generally okay with their Japanese releases, or some artists specifically, like JYP and SM, you can kind of just about get away with it, but with like Monster X's Japanese releases, it's just like, no, don't even try to put it on YouTube because it won't happen. I don't know where Willem sits on that. We'll see. So yeah, if there's weird editing over the screen recording here, I apologize. I'm trying to just share this with you guys. But it might be fine. It might be absolutely fine. Who knows? But that's for later me to worry about. That's for editor me to worry about. For now, let's just enjoy this. So, Rocket Punch, Bubble Up, Japanese, I think, debut. I'm excited. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. This is gonna be a pretty cool moment for Judy. This is gonna be a pretty cool moment. Ah! Speak of the devil. Oh, cuties. Oh, that sounds so good. Ooh. When we get to the end a little bit, because I have things I want to say. I started thinking about it in the acoustic version, but oh, that heavy synth there. It's a bop. It is an absolute bop. Oh my god, I love it. bass sounds. Come through with the vocals. I really like how like bassy heavy this instrumental is. Like it's so boppy and fun and bright, but it's got this real heavy bass line to it. Give me the bridge. Give me the bridge. Oh, that's so pretty. You better sing! A little bit. I love it so much. Oh, that ad-lib. That was amazing. That was amazing. I loved it. I got goosebumps. That was so good. That was such a bop. I literally have goosebumps. Like that was so much fun and so bright and just bouncy and excellent. That was great. That was so good. Like I sound like I'm surprised. I'm not completely surprised, but I feel like not always, but typically I tend to prefer Korean releases to Japanese releases. I don't really know why, but like that just seems to be the case. Like just something about like the production of Japanese releases doesn't always like hit home for me. And there are obviously exceptions. Like Twice is definitely a big exception because their Japanese releases, especially this year, have been a whole other thing. But I feel like just every so often you just have these like major exceptions where it's like, hi, the Japanese release might actually be your favorite Rocket Punch release that has dropped. I feel like it might be, like in terms of like title tracks kind of stuff, because their B-sides are phenomenal, but in terms of title tracks, that might be my favorite Rocket Punch title. Like that I loved that so much. That was such a fun song. Oh, I wanted to talk about Sooyeon. So I feel like Sooyeon has a beautiful, beautiful voice, right? But I feel like, at least in my experience, and I say this as someone who very much enjoys Rocket Punch, but hasn't yet sort of made that leap to fully deep dive into them. I feel like with groups okay, hang on, how do I want to word this? So there are lots of groups that I'm in that position with, where it's like I really like them, but I haven't necessarily like fully committed to watching everything, learning everything, blah blah blah. There are a lot of groups like that, but with the majority of those groups, when it comes to like, you know, members that have like a main vocal position, a main dancer position, a main rapper position, I hear about them. You know, I see people talking about them a lot. I feel like with Sooyeon, I don't see people talking about her as a main vocalist, but she has a really interesting and very cool vocal tone, and I feel like I want to see more. She sounded great in this song. She sounded awesome in the acoustic version of Ring Ring. She sounded beautiful in this, and she always does. Every you know song that I have heard from Rocket Punch, she sounds fantastic on. But I feel like for whatever reason, people don't talk about how great of a vocalist she is. She just seems to be one of these vocalists that's just kind of like flying under a lot of people's radars. And I don't know, it might just be that I've I just missed it. But like I said, like even with groups that I'm in the same position with, I still tend to see people talking about certain members and, you know, that you know, hold down similar positions. But for whatever reason, that isn't the case when it comes to Rocket Punch, and it's really bizarre. I know they're not like, they're by no means like a Nugu group, but they're also not like super popular. At least in the realms of fandom that I am privy to. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. But she's great. They're all great. But I feel like Suyeon deserves a lot more love and attention for how talented she is. And yeah, I've been leaning towards her as a potential bias for a really long time. Like, I've kind of ping-ponged around loads of different members in my journey with Rocket Punch, but for, I'd say, like, the last... probably since, like, a little bit after Ring Ring dropped, I've been leaning quite heavily towards her, but... so that might be where these feelings are coming from. But I don't know. Anyway, regardless, I absolutely loved that a whole lot. Gonna be bopping to that for the rest of the day. Immediately gonna go and add it on Spotify, assuming that it's there. But yeah, I'm gonna end this one here. Thank you guys very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.